I'll end that war between those two countries in 24 hours. It won't even take that long. Mark my words, I'll stop that war in 24 hours.
Traveling in China, and they're laughing. Like, you know, when Donald Trump says, the world was laughing at us. The world was not laughing at us before. The world is quite literally laughing at us right now. And you have China asserting itself as a major global power.
Spoken with President Putin in the past week. Have you spoken with President Putin?
Yeah, I don't want to. I have learned things that will be very interesting. I think in the next few days you'll find out.
Yeah, Trump wasn't happy when he was asked point blank by a reporter whether he'd actually spoken with Vladimir Putin. Cue the eye roll and extension of the endless 2 weeks before yet another resolution is promised in 2 weeks. I mean, who's got that calendar at this point? As I do recall the same president saying that he'd have this whole thing resolved in a matter of 24 hours.
I will have the horrible war between Russia and Ukraine totally settled. I'll have it done in 24 hours. I would have a deal done in 24 hours from the time we started. And even now, I could solve that in 24 hours.
I can do it in 24 hours. I know both players, and I can do that in 24 hours.
Could end the war in Ukraine in 24 hours.
Yes, I
How
could.
would you do that?
I know Zelensky very well. Before I even arrive at the Oval Office, I will have the disastrous war between Russia and Ukraine settled.
I know.
A show of solidarity by three countries shunned by the West over their roles in the Ukraine war. China's President Xi Jinping gathered his Russian and North Korean counterparts in Beijing for the first time on Tuesday. Russian President Vladimir Putin was hosted in the Great Hall of the People for a bilateral where he called the Chinese leader his dear friend. The pair then met at Xi's personal residence over tea.
Impresionante.
Impressive. I found out everything through this, the phone that Xi Jinping gave me.
Xi Jinping, esto me lo regaló Xi Jinping.
Look, Xi Jinping gave me this.
Un Huawei.
A Huawei, the best phone in the world, the Huawei, and the Americans can't hack it.
El mejor teléfono del mundo.
Neither their spy planes nor their satellites.
Y no te lo pueden intervenir los gringos. Ni los aviones espías ni los satélites.
The president said he's, quote, very disappointed Putin didn't make any progress. Now, this is rich coming from a man who proclaimed that the deal would be easy as lying about a video of things being thrown from the windows in the White House. I mean, if all else fails, just blame AI.
Yeah, they're bulletproof. And number one, they're sealed. And number two, each window weighs about 600 pounds. You have to be pretty strong to open them up. No, that has to be. Where was the window? Let me see.
Renovations.
Which is the window?
It looks like this is on the 15th Street side, I think. So right here.
Yeah, those windows are sealed. Those windows are they're all sealed. You can't open them.
What you're saying regarding the federal.
It's the kind of thing they do. And one of the problems we have with AI, it's both good and bad. If something happens really bad, just blame AI. But also they create things, you know, it works both ways. If something happens that's really bad, maybe I'll have to just blame AI. But there's truth to it because I see so many phony things. I saw something as I was growing up from the time I was a baby till now. I said,
Now, as we know, Trump has no problem boasting of his alleged diplomatic prowess, insisting that Putin was ready to cut a deal on Ukraine, even hinting that the Western peacekeepers might be part of the plan. But at a summit recently, Putin himself casually shrugged off those claims, saying that he and Trump haven't even discussed ending the war in any detail, that they merely, quote, agreed we would approach it. All while he's just sharing a good laugh with leaders from India, China, and as reported today, North Korea's Kim Jong-un, all descending upon Beijing to attend a massive military parade alongside the Chinese president. The meeting marks the trio's first appearance together in public, so really perhaps Trump's just mad that he's on the sidelines and not invited.
Let me remind you in this regard that this crisis arose not as a result of Russia's attack on Ukraine, but as a result of a coup d'etat in Ukraine, which was supported and provoked by the West. and then attempts to suppress the resistance of those regions of Ukraine and those people in Ukraine who did not accept this coup, did not support it, by force of arms. And the second reason for the crisis is the constant attempts of the West to draw Ukraine into NATO, which, as we have repeatedly emphasized and said, and for many years, represents a direct threat to Russia's security.
And let's just call this what it is, right? It's a show of strength and defiance. While Trump wanted to present himself as the avenger of Ukrainian peace, he's been left humiliated by Putin time and time again, to the point that Fox News can't even deny it. And as EU Foreign Policy Chief Kaja Kallas described it, Putin just used the United States for a photo op, and Trump went along with it.
Putin is really playing games. I mean, he wants to have a photo with the most influential person on earth, President Donald Trump, and then he wants the postponement of sanctions. The concessions need to be done by Putin, and he hasn't done any concessions so far. Of course, we want peace. This peace has to be sustainable. It has to be with justice, and that has also that is the reason why we need to put the pressure on Russia and support Ukraine at the same time. So, European Union and all the member states support the diplomatic efforts to achieve peace and the end of Russia's war. But it's clear that Russia is not preparing for peace. It is the opposite. They are preparing for more war. This week, Russia launched its second biggest air attack on Kiev since the war began. The strikes killed many civilians and damaged offices that belong to the European Union and British Council. Russian airstrikes also hit a US factory. So today ministers discussed ways to further increase pressure on Russia to really negotiate, to really come to the negotiation table and sit down and discuss with Ukraine. Sanctions have deprived Russia tens of billions of euros to fund its war, and sanctions work. Ministers discussed the possible building blocks for the next sanction package. Options include secondary sanctions, those backing Russia's war, as well as import bans and tariffs on Russian products. Efforts against shadow fleet ships must also be stepped up. And I've asked the member states for their proposals next week.
It's never been more apparent that Putin controls the narrative here, playing Trump like an orange-coated fiddle. So as Mr. Art of the Deal's grand diplomacy hits a roadblock, let's remember that it is the Ukrainians who continue to suffer, while one of the world's most brutal dictators just laughs at the very idea of Trump forcing his hand.
By the way, as a result of the coup d'etat in Ukraine in 2014, the political leadership of the country that did not support Ukraine's entry into the North Atlantic Bloc, NATO, was eliminated. In this regard, we highly appreciate the efforts and proposals of China, India, and our other strategic partners, designed to facilitate the settlement of the Ukrainian crisis. I would like to note that the understanding reached at the recent Russian-American summit in Alaska, I hope, also goes in this direction, opening the way to peace in Ukraine. During the bilateral meetings scheduled today and tomorrow, I will certainly inform my colleagues in more detail and in detail about the results of the talks in Alaska. By the way, yesterday during the lunch our hosts arranged for the participants of our meetings within the SCO, we already spoke about this with Chairman Sid Penny. This work has begun, and I informed him in detail about what, we have achieved during the talks with the President in the United States. And, of course, for the Ukrainian settlement to be sustainable and long-term, the root causes of the crisis, which I have just mentioned and which I have spoken about many times before, must be eliminated.
Love this video? Support independent media and unlock exclusive content, ad-free videos, and custom emojis by becoming a paid member of our YouTube channel today. You can also gift memberships to others. Let's keep growing together.